So I'm going to close my STL. I'm done with that. I'm going to leave my function block alarms open for reference. And I'm going to open this unfortunately empty STL alarms file here. And man, let's just go ahead and jump right in. So first alarm I think we've got is oil low flow alarm. And that's the somewhat complicated one because we're looking for oil to be over below a set point. We're looking for the brake to be disengaged and the VFD to be energized. So first thing to do is let's start piling up those conditions. First, let's knock out our comparison. So let's pull in the oil flow. We're going to load, and that's going to be oil flow. Then we're going to load oil flow low set point. And then we're going to do a less than I and see if oil flow is lower than that set point. And that's going to put a true or a false into our register. Now we're going to say and look to see if our VFD is energized. So that's oil pump VFD energized out. And then we're going to say and not, and we're going to look for our breakout. All right? So there's all of our conditions. And if all of those conditions are true, then we're going to start our timer. So let's do a jump C, and that's going to jump to alarm timer. So we'll say OLF, oil low flow, and then I'll just say timer. So TIMER, OLF timer. Should be good. Let's copy that, bring it down here and paste that in, colon. And the only thing I really need right after that, actually, here's where we need to do our convert time. So let's drag that block in here. And there's the call. And I'll just back this up. So call convert time with int1, and that's going to be our oil low flow delay set point, something like that. And to put that into a time, let's go ahead and create those temp times. So I'm going to create TI1, TI2, TI3, TI4, TI5, TI6, TI7, and then I'm going to assume I'm also going to use my T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, and T7 as well. Oh man, I set all of those as bools, so I gotta go through, and if I had just set the first one as time, when I created the rest of them, they would have already been time. But I got ahead of myself. I was a little bit stupid on that one. Sorry. Look on the bright side. That's like 45 extra seconds worth of course for you while you sit there and watch me click all of these. So, you know, yay. More value. What can I say? All right. And the only other thing I think we have to define is our triggers. And we won't worry about that. We also might have to come up here and define some one-shots, so we will get to that if we do. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure we're going to use some one-shots. We'll get to that. So for now, let's see, we're going to call this timer, and actually, so for now we're converting time, and this first one is going to be our TI1. Okay? So after we call that, we're going to have our TI1 set. Then I think we can go ahead and pull our timer in here. So let's drop that call right there. Let's set this as time so that it asks for a name. Okay, it's provided a name. Our in on this is going to be true. our PT, that's going to be our TI1. Our Q is going to be our alarm trigger. So let's go ahead and give that OLFAT. Right click, if it will allow it. There we go. Define tag, local bool temp. And for our ET, that's going to be our time1, not tag1, T1. Make it simple. That's kind of strange. There. Okay. And then after we do those calls, we are going to jump conditionally on our, what did we say that? OILAT. I think that should be OLFAT. So there, it looks like I just did a typo on that. Not a big deal. Local bool, okay. And actually, we don't do the jump conditionally like that. The first thing we need to do is say A for and, OLFAT, and then we're going to JC, and that's going to be set OLF alarm. All right, so let's copy that name, come down here and create our label, and that's going to be set to put a true value into our register. Then we're going to S, and we want our oil low flow alarm, and then we're going to S, and we want our oil low flow notify. Okay, so that point we're going to set those alarms, and then we also need to reset the alarm and reset the notify. So reset OLF alarm colon and reset OLF notify, and not notify, notify. There we go. Colon on that as well. And let's put the logic in here for those two. So for the reset OLF alarm, we are going to R, and that's going to be our oil low flow alarm. And if we come down to reset the notify, again we're just going to R, and where is that low flow notify? There we go. All right, so we're going to need some one-shots. So when we first come into this section, what are we doing? First, we're comparing our flow to the set point, and we're checking all of our conditions to see if we need to jump to the timer. If we jump to the timer, we're either going to time the timer out, in which case we're going to set the alarm, or once we're done here, we're just going to jump out. So we're going to jump unconditionally to end of line. And let's go ahead and put that end of line down here. So end of line colon BE block end. Okay, so if we go into the timer, we're going to exhaust it. We're either going to set the alarm or we're going to go to block end. And once we go to set the alarm, after we're done setting the alarms, we're going to jump unconditionally to end of line. And we know we're going to replace that out once we add the rest of our alarms in here, but for now it's giving us structure, and we need structure. So what happens if we evaluate the alarm conditions, but we do not need to jump into the timer? Well, then we want to look for alarm reset and alarm silence. So we're going to clear out our register, and then we're going to say and alarm silence. And once we know whether or not we have an alarm silence, we're also going to check for it to be the front positive for the one shot or the first scan. So we're going to say FP ONS1. And oh yeah, we've already used that. So OS1. And at that point, if it is the first time that we've had the alarm silence, then we can jump conditionally to reset OLF notify. On this reset of alarm, we also want to reset the notify there. So let's go ahead and put an R, and that's going to be our oil low flow notify. Got it? And we need some handling on these. So after we finish the resets, what do we need to do? And we're going to jump unconditionally to end of line on both of those. So copy, and I'll just paste. Good. All right. And before we evaluate alarm silence, I want to evaluate alarm reset, because that should take precedence, since that that eliminates both bits. So I'm going to copy and paste that section here, and instead of loading alarm silence, we're going to load alarm reset, and I'll just switch those. So the first one will be OS1, the second one will be OS2, and for this, we will jump to reset OLF alarm. Okay, so now we need to define our one-shots. So that's going to be OS1, that's going to be a static bool, OS2, OS3, OS4, OS5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think I'm going to end up using 14, but we'll find out. So let's go ahead and get that back up out of our way. And do we have a completely programmed oil low flow alarm here? Because I'm ready to get started copying, pasting. So first thing we do is we evaluate oil flow to the set point. Then we check to see if our VFD is energized. Then we check to see if our brake is de-energized. If all that's true, we jump to the timer. The timer converts our time to our time set point to an actual time. Then it calls the timer and runs it. Once that timer runs out, it will energize OLFAT. If OLFAT is energized, then we will jump to setting the alarm. Otherwise, we'll jump to end of line. Once we set the alarm, we'll set the alarm, set the notify, and jump to end of line. If we don't meet the alarm conditions, then we're going to check for alarm reset and jump to that. If we don't have reset, we're going to check to alarm silence and jump to that. And then we just need one more unconditional jump. So jump unconditionally to end of line. And when we get to set the alarm, we set both of those, jump to the end. When we reset the alarm and the notify, jump to end of line, and we get to reset notify. We only reset the notify and jump to end of line. Okay, I would say that looks right to me. So I'm going to copy all of this and paste it, and let's get started on our second alarm. And let's just look back and cheat here, and that's going to be our overcurrent alarm. So right up here, let's just type that in. We've got our note, and now we need to give this a label. So let's come over here to this line, overcurrent alarm, colon. Okay, so we've got that label created, and now instead of this end of line being here, let's go ahead and cut that out, and I'm going to give ourselves some space and paste that end of line way down there. Okay, and we don't need an end of line here. Good. Now instead of jumping to end of line, we're going to jump to overcurrent alarm. So let's punch that in for all of these where we have end of line. Now we're going to jump there instead. Alright, I think we've got that all squared away. So that top one now is 100% done. And let's go ahead and change this OLF. This is going to be OC. So overcurrent timer, set OC alarm, reset OC alarm, and reset OC notify. Okay, and I'm just going to copy that, just the OC, and let's come up here and see where I can paste that in. So right there is a good place, and it looks like that was it. So oh, here we go. I knew we had some more somewhere around here. So OC, OC, whoops, not OOC, OC, OC. That all of them? I'm probably missing something somewhere, but that's okay. We'll find it later on down the road. This OL fat, actually we're going to replace out that timer, so no need to worry about that. So let's come up here, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to load our current. Whoops, that shouldn't have gone there, that should have gone there. We're going to load our current, then we're going to load our overcurrent set point. And if it's less, we're not going to worry about these other two conditions, so let's delete those. We're going to jump to our OC timer. And once we get to this, let's go ahead and put in our conversion. So that's going to be our overcurrent delay set point. And we want to get our TI2 out of there. All right. And then we need to call our timer. So let's go ahead and just wipe that out. And we're going to call in a new timer right there. Okay. And this timer is going to be timing time. Let's give it some data. The N is going to be true. Our PT is going to be our TI2. Our Q, that's going to be our trigger, and that's going to be OCAT, which, whoops, I didn't mean to put that all lowercase. Got it? And right click, define tag. That's going to be a local temp bool. And our ET will just simply be T2. Okay. And here we're going to load the value for OCAT. And then we're going to jump to set OC alarm. Otherwise, jump to end of line. And now we need to put in those alarm names. So what are we going to set? We're going to set our overcurrent alarm, which I'm going to copy and paste here. And then we've got our overcurrent notify, which I will copy, paste here and here. And then we're jumping to the end of line. So let me scan through here. And does everything look right? Yes, it does. So good. Let's copy our, not overcurrent, let's just make that overcurrent alarm. And space in there, because that's not a tag name. Okay, let's copy that. Bring it down here and paste it one more time. And let's see what our next alarm is. So number 3, that's our high oil temp, hot, H-O-T, good. So let's just grab this overcurrent, high oil temp alarm. And let's replace the name, high oil temp alarm. We've got that. And now that we do, we can replace these ends of line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, come on, 5. All right, so now we've got all those jumps coming to this alarm evaluation rather than going to the end of the block. And let's take our OCs and make them hot, H-O-T. I'll copy that hot and come down here and just see if I can't replace out my OCs. So OC, OC, OC. Things are getting hot. We want to set the hot alarm, and coming up here, reset hot notify, reset hot alarm, jump to the hot timer. Good. Okay, so that's a step in the right direction. And why does that ET say tag 2? That shouldn't. That should say T2. Okay. So if I saw it down here after I copy and paste it, I knew there had to be a problem up above. Okay. So we're looking for high oil temp. And let's go ahead and load our oil temp. And that's right here. Let's load our high oil temp set point. And if it's higher, then we're going to jump to the hot timer, alarm reset, and we've got OS1 and OS2 in here, which we shouldn't have because we should have put those at 3 and 4 here. So let's go ahead and set those properly. And then come down here, and these should be 5 and 6. So that's going to mess things up if we don't have those working straight. All right. Reset hot alarm, alarm silence, reset hot notify, jump to the end of line. All right, that all sounds good. And then we're going to call our convert time, only now. We're going to be converting our high oil temp delay set point to TI3. Let's wipe our timer. Bring in a fresh one and get rid of that extra space. Set this guy to time. Give it some data. Okay. True. Our PT is our TI3. Our Q, that's our hot AT. Define it, local bool, perfect. ET is our T3. And we're loading here, HOTAT, and deciding whether to set hot alarm. And if we do set hot alarm, whoops, there we go. High oil temp alarm, copy, paste, and then we need our high oil temp notify, copy, paste, and paste. Okay, another one bites the dust, boys and girls. I think that's it. Let's copy and get working on our fourth one of these. So copy, come down here a ways, paste it in. And now we're not working with high oil temp. What's next? It's overspeed. All right. Another easy alarm. Overspeed. Whoops. Let's copy overspeed and replace it out right there. And our hots are going to be OS's. So let's copy that and set OS alarm. We want to reset OS alarm and reset OS notify. That's all of the labels. Now let's find those kind of buried in here in the logic. And there we go. We've got set OS alarm. reset OS notify, reset OS alarm, and call the OS timer. Okay, now let's start just tagging our way through this thing. So we're going to load our RPM and compare it to our overspeed set point. Good. We're going to call overspeed timer, and now these should our one shots should be bumped up to 7 and 8. Good. And nice. I think we've got everything in that first part done. We're going to convert our overspeed delay set point, and we're going to convert that to TI4. Then we need to call our timer. So let's bring in a fresh one. Got it. And set that timer on time. Give it data. We want a true value. Our preset time is our TI4. Our Q, this is OSAT, because now we're working with overspeed. And we can right click, define that, local temp bool. Copy that, paste it right down here below, go back up a line and set our T4. Set OS alarm. And now let's set our overspeed alarms. So copy that, paste it there. We need our overspeed notify. Copy, couple more pastes, and there we go. Let's give it one quick look before we jump out of here, and I think everything looks about right. Let's copy it and get down to our fifth one. What just happened? I don't know if I copied that or not, so let's just try and paste it and see what happens. Yeah, I got it. Good. What's after overspeed? Number 5, that's our high oil flow. All right. High oil flow. And instead of calling this overspeed alarm, high oil flow alarm. And let's copy that name, come up here and replace out our ends of line. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Got them. And now let's change our labels. So OS is going to become HOF. Let's copy that, paste it, and paste it. And let's copy that and select our OS, paste it, and paste it. And let's look into our logic. We got to paste it there. Where else? Overwrite that OS and overwrite that one. Okay, so now let's start looking for our tags. We need our oil flow, and we want to compare that against our high oil flow set point. So that's OIL, oil flow, HH flow set point, something like that. And we're going to jump to our, not OS anymore, but HOF timer. And instead of 7 and 8, we need to bump our one shots up to 9 and 10. And reset HOF, okay, everything's good there. Convert time, we need our, not high, but oil flow, is it oil high flow delay set point. And that's going to be bumped up to TI5. Let's get rid of that timer. pull in our new one. And, okay. Quit jumping around, you stupid program. Alright, give it some data. True. Our preset time, that's our TI5. Our Q, HOF, AT. Define it, local temp bool. ET, T5. And not OSAT, but HOFAT. Set the HOF alarm, and we need oil high flow alarm. Copy paste, and oil high flow notify. Copy, paste, and paste. Have we got it all? I think so. Good. Let's get to the brake failure. So let's copy all of this. Come down here, paste it in. Only 2 more of these guys and we're done. So not brank, but brake failure, which is going to make this tag or this label the brake failure alarm. And now that we have that, replace our ends of line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our HOFs are going to become BFs. Let's work our way down the labels, and then let's work our way up the code. So HOFAT is going to become BFAT. Set BF alarm. We can skip the timer because we're going to replace that anyway. And here we go. Reset BF notify. Reset BF alarm. And call the BF timer. Good. And let's start working our way down. So for brake failure, we're looking for the RPMs to be greater than 0. So if RPMs, and that's not less than 0, that should be greater than 0, and brake out is energized, then we're going to jump to BF timer, alarm reset, blah blah blah. So instead of 9 and 10, we need one shots 11 and 12. Reset BF, everything's good. Jump down to BF timer. We're looking for our brake failure delay set point, kicking that into TI6, and setting up our new timer. There we go. It's going to be counting time, obviously. Get rid of that extra space. It's always true as long as we get to this part of the code. Preset time, that's going to be our TI6. Our Q is BFAT, brake failure alarm trigger, which is local temp bool. We're handling it here, jumping to set the alarm. Everything's good. And once we get to setting the alarm, we need our brake failure alarm. Copy and paste that one time. Find our brake failure notify. Hey, I didn't get the right one. There's our notify, which we will paste that a couple of times. And man, we're making these look quick now, aren't we? I hope I'm not making a bunch of mistakes as a result of that. Quit giving me that breakpoints crap. I'm not even trying to set breakpoints. Okay, last but not least is our e-stop alarm. So e-stop alarm, e-stop alarm. Let's copy the tag name. 1, 2, 3. Where'd we go? 4 and 5. Okay, we got all those jumps set. All that should be good. And let's make those ES. Copy that. Set ES alarm. Reset ES alarm. Reset ES notify. And we don't have a timer anymore, so let's delete that whole section of code right there. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say and e-stop, not load RPM. So A, e-stop, and no other values to compare it to. And then we're going to check out FP, and this is going to be our OS 13. So front positive that. And if that happens to be the first scan that e-stop is true on, and actually we're looking for e-stop to be open, so we're going to say and not e-stop. Then we're going to front positive, and we're going to jump to set ES alarm. So let's copy that name, and that's where we're going to jump to. Then we're going to clear, and we're going to look for our alarm reset and our alarm silence. So we're going to need an OS 14, and we didn't account for this last one, an OS 15. We'll just go ahead and define that here. Local static bool, done. And here we go. Let's copy our ES, because we're going to be jumping to ES and in ES here. So all of those are set as ES, good. And yeah, I think that's all we need. Let's just set these tags. That's going to be our e-stop alarm, e-stop notify, e-stop alarm, e-stop notify, and didn't mean to type that there, e-stop notify. And how does that look? And these we leave jumping to end of line, and there is end of line. So let's give that another space, and I'm just going to space everything with 2 spaces in between, just to make it look halfway consistent, like it was written by somebody who wasn't overdosing on crack. And okay, I think that's got it. So